right, we had a week 0 appetizer of college football last Saturday, but this Saturday, it's the main course with week 1 games kicking off. So let's talk about the big top 25 matchups, along with more conference realignment. And we're going to do it with USA Today college football reporter Kristian Dyer, who joins me now. Kristian, how you doing? Are you ready for week 1?
I was hoping to not talk any more conference realignment for another 6 months, Dex, but here we are, Labor Day weekend, and yeah, there's a lot to talk about in college football.
A lot to talk about, and something tells me 6 months from now, we'll probably be talking college realignment a bit more. But Kristian, the marquee matchup of Saturday is 5th-ranked LSU visiting number 8 Florida State. Some people have the Tigers as the second-best team in the SEC, and the Seminoles as the best team in the ACC. So how do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, this is an intriguing one, especially when you consider last year's 24-23 win by LSU in New Orleans at the Superdome. It was probably one of the classic games and kind of really kickstarted a fantastic season of college football and some really good parity in college football last year. And I think we're going to see probably more of the same. LSU is a team that's returning a lot of starters and has a lot of confidence from the way they closed out the second half of the season, their first season under head coach Brian Kelly. I can't help but think that what they have under center in Jaden Daniels has that prototypical pro size, but has the athleticism to be able to play at the college level when the pocket breaks down. 6'4", cannon of an arm, 17 touchdowns last year, 3 interceptions, almost 3,000 passing yards, and as dangerous with his feet as he is with his arms. He reads defenses very well for a college quarterback. To me, he's probably the player, Dex, that we're not talking about enough for the Heisman race. There's all this Caleb Williams hype, and I get it based off the year he had last year and the awards that he won. But Jaden Daniels, to me, is one of those players, especially with Malik Neighbors at wide receiver, one of those players who we should be talking about as being potentially one of the best players in college football, if not the best. I know this is a quote-unquote road game in Orlando for LSU, but it's just my feeling that LSU is going to win this one and is going to win this one by at least a touchdown.
All right, got LSU winning over Florida State. We'll see how that one plays out. Moving along.
Florida State a little overrated.
Okay, you say Florida State a little overrated, trying to piss off the Seminole fans down there in Tallahassee.
All ACC fans. I think the entire ACC is overrated this year.
Wow. You know, my alma mater is in the ACC. We'll get to that later. We'll get to that later. I'll let that one slide there. All right, the Deion Sanders era at Colorado gets underway on Saturday. The Buffaloes visit number 17 TCU. Coach Prime looking to turn Colorado around. Do you think he can pull off the week 1 road upset here? Is that possible?
No, I don't think so. I think TCU certainly has a bad taste in their mouth from the way the national championship game ended last year for them, the most lopsided of the college football playoff / BCS era. At the end of the day, TCU, yes, they've got a new quarterback under center. They are replacing Max Duggan, who's now with the Los Angeles Chargers. Almost said San Diego, but with the Los Angeles Chargers. There's going to be some transition there. Chandler Morris, though, is a player for TCU. He's going to be their quarterback in this game. I think he has a very high ceiling here. He hasn't thrown a ton of passes in his college career, 108. But most interestingly there, Dex, he hasn't thrown an interception yet and has a completion percentage over 60%. So I think you're looking at TCU playing at home and just the sheer amount of turnover, roster turnover that Colorado has gone through. It's going to be a difficult road for Deion Sanders this year. I think they're going to surprise a couple teams. Week 1's going to be too early to pull off some surprises. They're going to build as this season progresses, certainly. But at the end of the day, I don't think this is a bowl team in Colorado. I hope that Deion Sanders proves me wrong, but there's a lot of roster changes that's been going on here. And to go on the road against a college football playoff team from the year before, that's going to be probably a bridge too far for Colorado. I think it's safe to say TCU wins this one, and it might be comfortable. This is going to be a learning lesson, I think, for Coach Deion at Colorado.
All right. You think it'll be a rough road early on for the Buffaloes. We'll see if Coach Prime is able to turn things around there in Colorado. All right. So now this is one I wanted to talk to you about because it's a matchup between two teams that, as a Pitt alum, I'm going to have a hard time watching. That is Penn State, who will be hosting West Virginia. The Nittany Lions, they're opening a season at home against a Power 5 opponent. It's the first time since 2001. Penn State, they are near 3-touchdown favorites in this game. Do you expect the Nittany Lions to roll easily in this matchup?
I think Penn State's got a good shot to be running out of this one comfortably. That's the way I'll put it. There is a new quarterback under center, right? Multi-year starter Sean Clifford is now gone on to the NFL for after I think what you could say was a borderline illustrious career at Penn State. Drew Allar is going to be he's the present and he's the future for Penn State. Former 5-star quarterback, a big get there for James Franklin, who just keeps reloading every year. At Penn State, his recruiting class is consistently top 5. The question for me here, Dex, is when are we going to see a top 5 ranking from Penn State come November? It seems like they've been tailing off every year the second half of the year, and that's when they play the Michigans, the Ohio States, and they always have those tough games in the second half of the season. I think Penn State's a little overrated, especially with a quarterback who's a bit unproven, but they're not going to be overrated in this one. West Virginia is no match. West Virginia is in a rebuilding mode. Your disdain for West Virginia is probably a little bit deeper than it is for Penn State, so it's going to be more of a good day than not for you. I don't see Penn State even looking in the back mirror come midpoint of the third quarter.
All right, you got the Nittany Lions smashing the Mountaineers there, and you think a lot of people are overrated, Kristian, right now. Overrated is the word of the day for you that I see. I see that overrated is the word of the day.
I'm overrated right now. My wife told me that this morning. Husband, you're overrated.
Wow.
So it's in the back of my mind.
It's in the back of your mind. It seems like it's at the forefront, not the back of your mind. It's right there in the forefront. I think it's right there. All right, lastly.
My mind's overrated, too.
Your mind is overrated. No, you have a great mind. That's why we're talking to you, because you have a great mind. Now, lastly, Kristian, before I let you go, we have to do this. We've got to talk about some conference realignment. The ACC, they're expanding their eastern roots. On Friday, the conference voted to add Stanford, Cal, and SMU. ACC is now at 18 teams, with 17 playing football full-time in the league starting next season. So here's the question. Is this a good move for the ACC, and is this also a good move for college football?
It's now the All-Continental Conference, right, Dex? I want to trademark that. I am the first one. I saw the All-Coastal Conference when there's the talk about getting some of the Pac-12 teams. This is the All-Continental Conference now. And I think for the ACC, it makes a ton of sense. Why? You're adding television markets, none bigger than SMU, which is going to attract a lot of cable sets and cable boxes. Yes, people still have cable, but there's also going to be a lot of streaming going on from Dallas. And it's a little ironic if you think about it. SMU this time 30, 35 years ago was on the death penalty, and now SMU may be saving one of the great brands of college football in the ACC. Can't quite get over that one, but SMU, which has bounced around, if you remember, they were part of a number of different conferences over the past 2 decades, including that weird conglomeration of the old Big East, kind of at the tail ends, the final breaths of the Big East as a football conference. I think this is a good move from the ACC. Does it match what the Big Ten has done in terms of rating the top 4 teams and the top 4 brands from the Pac-12? It certainly doesn't. This doesn't compete with adding the likes of USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington, either on the football or the basketball side, or let's be honest, on the Olympic sports side. The Big Ten's still going to make move, Dex. Don't get me wrong. They're at 18. They're going to be moving to 20 at some point in the next 18 months. Those moves will probably come at the expense of the ACC. I would say Miami, North Carolina are our targets 1A and 1B as far as this goes. The ACC still has a lot of work that it has to do on the television side to get that contract up to par. But this was a good move, adding the Dallas market first and foremost.
All right, I think it's a good move there, and I'm with you on this. Got to start rebranding these names. You can't have all this expansion, more teams in these conferences, and you're keeping it the same. I like your idea for the All-Continental Conference. I like that. I can rock with that. I think it's a good one.
Big 10 times 2, right? They had 2 more programs. Big 10 times 2, you can get away with that.
It's a little bit of a mouthful, but we can get away with that. We might be able to get away with that. All right, the man who is not overrated has broke down college football for week one. Also talk some college football realignment. That is Kristian Dyer of USA Today Sports. Kristian, appreciate the time, appreciate the insight, and next time, you're not going to be overrated at all. You're going to be properly rated.
I'll just be rated.
There you go. We can work with that. Thanks, Kristian. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you.